Ultrasabers is a very popular and profitable custom saber company, but they're not without their controversies. So let's dive into that a little bit. Let's talk about some reasons that people hate Ultrasabers. And there are plenty of reasons that people love Ultrasabers as well, and I'd love to hear about that in the comment section, both things that you like and maybe don't like about Ultrasabers. And try to keep it a little objective. So, I know people can get really passionate, and that's fine, but just, keep the language a little clean, and let's keep things civil. So let's dive into it though. So the first thing we really have to talk about, I think, with Ultrasabers is the customer service, and it seems very hit or miss. So you have a lot of people that have had good experiences with their customer service, and then you have some people that have had some not so good experiences with their customer service. And some of the bad experiences that people have had, well, they've gotten quite a bit of attention, and probably deservedly so. So first of all, I'd recommend this with any company. See if they have a Better Business Bureau page, because that's where you'll see kind of a variety of customer complaints, and it'll be a little more candid than maybe you'd find like on the actual website. Like on Ultrasabers website, they have reviews on there, but it seems like they're all positive. So you get that side of it. I'm sure, a lot of those reviews, it is people that are just happy, but it's a little one-sided. So it's always nice to see kind of other experiences that people have had as well. And you'll get a pretty good dose of that from the Better Business Bureau page. So I'll link to that below. Another thing probably worth checking out is there's this pretty popular Reddit topic in December, and it got a lot of attention. It was called Ultrasabers Demands Positive Review or Won't Give Customer Paid For Product. So I'm not going to get into the details on that here, but I do recommend checking that out, and you can see what this customer's experience was, and you can see how others responded as well. So those are two things to maybe check out. I'm sure there are many more things like that to look at as well. So customer service, little hit or miss. And related to that, there's certain kind of details that you'll notice on the website that seem, well, I don't know. I mean, it would be a little unsettling for a new buyer. For example, they have a really short return policy. The Ultrasabers return policy is 3 days. So that's almost as short as you can get, aside from not having a return policy at all. These days, it seems like a lot of places will have return policies of maybe 2 weeks or a month. That's quite standard. But 3 days after receiving the item, that's very, very short. And as a new buyer, I mean, I didn't realize they even had this short return policy until maybe a month ago or so. And I saw that, and just, it's a little unsettling if you're planning on making kind of a significant purchase like this, and you realize you just have 3 days to, decide about it. So at any rate, it is a short return policy. And related to that, there's also the 20% restocking fee. So if you are within that 3-day window to return the product for whatever reason, then you're going to incur their 20% restocking fee, which, I mean, a variety of companies will use a restocking fee like that. That's not super uncommon, but it's another kind of signal for a new buyer. That's another reason to feel a little uneasy. And in addition to that, so the restocking fee kicks in at any point. So even if you don't receive your order, so if you want to cancel your order early for some reason, and some people have needed to do that, maybe for financial reasons or some other kind of life reasons, they'll contact Ultrasabers and they'll say, hey, please cancel my order. Sometimes it'll be pretty quickly too, and Ultrasabers will cancel the order, but they'll still charge that restocking fee even though the order hasn't even shipped at all. So even if you have like $100 order, which that would be kind of on the lower end for Ultrasabers, then that's $20 just out of your pocket. You're not going to see that back. So that's just, I don't know, that's what they do. Okay, another thing about Ultrasabers that some people don't like is kind of the internals of the Ultrasabers lightsabers and the wiring. So there's not a protective chassis on the inside, and so you can get kind of some rattling in the saber. The battery pack is a little exposed. It doesn't have kind of a protective chassis around that either. It does have the Velcro holding the batteries in place. So yeah, some people don't care for that, and if you're doing some heavy dueling, that some of that rattling could kind of agitate the internals of the saber, so that can be a problem for some people. Another thing that some people don't like about Ultrasabers is, well, certain things are not included and they're upgrades on an Ultrasabers lightsaber where they would be included by default on a lightsaber from another company. So some of the Ultrasabers hilts are very low in price compared to some of the other saber companies, but then if you add on these little things, that can inch your price up and up. So a big example of that is the switch. So many of the lower end to maybe mid-range Ultrasabers hilts will include a guarded switch by default. And if you want to upgrade to the popular AV switch, that'll be an additional $15 minimum. And a lot of other saber companies will just have the AV switch by default. And so it's a little bit of a price jump, $15 to change the switch like that. That's a little bit of a price hike. And another thing that some people don't like is the cover tech wheel is not included. So if you want to add a cover tech, well, okay, that depends on the saber. So again, for kind of the more basic sabers, the cover tech wheel is not included on an Ultrasabers lightsaber by default, and it's an additional $14. So if you're adding both the AV switch and the cover tech wheel onto a saber, that's going to add $29 to your saber right there. So, even if you're getting the cheapest saber that they have, $59.99, I think, you add on those two things, that's kicking the saber up to like about $100. So something to think about. And yeah, I think that covers most of what I wanted to say. Last part would be grab bag sabers and mystery box sabers. So those are so popular, you guys, but I made an entire video about this, that there's a lack of transparency on these sabers. So we don't really know how many people are getting a good value saber, and we don't know how many people are getting a saber that's exactly the value that they pay, or in some cases, people get a saber lower in value than they pay. So for example, grab bag sabers, Ultrasabers has stated, they're not guaranteed to be any value. So you could end up with a saber that's less expensive than what you paid, which some people could very easily be upset about that. Now, mystery box sabers supposedly are supposed to be at least the value that you paid. Well, at any rate, I won't get too far into that, but there are some controversies specifically surrounding the grab bag sabers and mystery box sabers, and just how Ultrasabers handles them. Yep, so those are kind of main things I wanted to go over. Customer service, you've had a lot of mixed feelings people have had about that. Return policy, restocking fee, just kind of the wiring and the internals. They could be protected a little better, and then just kind of the transparency on the grab bag sabers, mystery box sabers, and finally certain things that you need to pay for to upgrade your saber that are not just included by default. So that kind of covers most of what I wanted to cover. I'd love to hear from you guys. What are some things you love about Ultrasabers? What are some things you maybe don't care for as much? And feel free to chime in about other saber companies as well, what you like about them, what you maybe think they could do better. I think it's valuable for the community to have an open discussion about these type of topics. So anyway, love to hear from you as always.